All right, guys, today we're going to go through what we call our Ninjas in Training class. So our 5 through 9-year-olds, we've kind of changed the way wrestling's done, right? We're not as intense with them. We don't grind them out. We don't do a lot of live. We do a really specific system, and it's, obviously now we're having kids who came for our Ninjas class having a lot of success. So I think we have our proof of concept. Besides the difference in techniques and the difference in warm-up, which we'll run you through, obviously we encourage them not to compete a lot. We don't really start that till kind of like age 10. We really force them, although a lot of them want to move up early. We try to force them to stay in the Ninjas class all the way till age 9. And then, the other way to look at this is, once we get enough kids, we start splitting up the age groups. So like here in Heartland, we have a 5-year-olds class, we have a 6 and 7-year-olds class, and we have an 8 and 9-year-olds class. And the difference between each one of those classes is really immense. If you were to watch them 3 in a row and you see what the 5-year-olds are doing versus the 6, 7s versus 8, 9s, it's crazy how much it changes. So, as we're going through, say, the warm-up, I really have like a 15-minute limit on the warm-up, and so like the 8, 9-year-olds, they're gonna do everything. Like we're just boom, 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 we'll run through everything. The 5-year-olds, like if we have 10 things, we might get through 4 of them, right? And that's fine because that's our warm-up. Same thing with the technique. With the technique, we kind of have the same 12, 15-ish techniques that we rotate through. With the 5-year-olds, I might get through 3 of them, right? With 8, 9-year-olds, I might get through 9 of the 10, right? I'm gonna get through a lot of stuff. And then at the end, we do a little bit of live wrestling, never too much, usually like 6 to 10 minutes, somewhere in there. And it's very controlled. We do situational live, so we'll go through those positions that we do, we'll talk you through that. And at the end, we always play games. Now, it's not always dodgeball, it's actually rarely dodgeball. We have a lot of combative games, and the kids seem to like those, right? And for me, I think one of the biggest challenges, especially with non-wrestling families, where their parents or their older brothers haven't wrestled, is getting kids to be aggressive and combative. And so all the games we play are kind of aggressive, combative games, which are going to get kids used to battling each other, fighting, pushing, pulling, tackling, all that type of stuff. Because frankly, again, if we get them to age 10, our goal for the Ninjas program, teach them how to move their bodies a little bit, get them comfortable with being aggressive and on the mat and wrestling, and then have them enjoy the sport of wrestling. So at age 10, they're saying, hey, that's something I really like. I want to come back. I want to do more. I want to get better at that. So that's kind of our goal through our 5 through 9-year-olds. And if we get them at age 10, they're excited about wrestling. They're a little bit aggressive, and they know some basic movements. We're going to have a lot of success. All right, guys, we are ready for the warm-up. I'm going to bring in Jaden and William to help us. Guys, come on in. So it's actually, obviously these guys are not 5 through 9-year-olds. They're quite a bit older. And it's pretty cool because they've actually helped. They both have younger brothers who are in the Ninjas program currently, so they both kind of help coach the class. So everything that we do for them, it's going to be kind of relatively easy, and you'll notice that obviously, again, as we talk, a lot of stuff for 5-year-olds is, I don't want to say almost impossible, but like nobody could do it, And 6 and 7, they start getting the hang of 8 and 9-year-olds, they're really good at it. So let's just run through a warm-up, and I'll kind of just take you step by step through everything, and then at the end I'll close it out, okay? So obviously first thing we do is start jogging, so you guys can make a small circle, stay on camera. Boom, so jogging. Usually, with the young kids, that just turns into like as fast as a sprint as you can go. You can't let them go too long, or obviously they're going to get too tired because they're literally sprinting the whole time. We only do 2 things after jogging while we're going in a circle. First one will be shuffling, so we go shuffle inside. Really, kids really struggle, especially 5-year-olds, like just moving your feet and not putting them together. So we really emphasize, keeping your feet wide. These guys are kind of getting lazy because they don't have their butts down. So we even emphasize really getting your butts down, shuffling right there. Okay? After they shuffle inside and outside, the other one we do, and this is one of those where like for 5-year-olds, it's almost impossible. 8, 9 to get it is karaoke. So you guys karaoke real quick. So that's obviously just switching your feet back and forward like this. Man, something that's a really, really, really hard skill for 5-year-olds to get. By the time they get older, they usually don't have an issue with it. And again, the other thing to think about through the wrestling program is like these basic skills will generally make people better at all sports. That's kind of something we're looking at. Okay? So then we say time. See, everyone find a painted line. We don't want them to jump on our tape lines because they ruin our tape lines. So we say, everyone find a painted line. And we just do some line drills again, getting kids to learn how to move their feet, and getting some energy out, obviously being in practice. So first one, forward to back, super simple. All they do, quick jumps, forward to back. Man, I would say at 5 years old, they can pretty much all do this. This one's pretty easy. Time, then we go side to side. Boom, just getting them moving a lateral motion, maybe slightly harder than forward back, but again, not a really hard motion, even for the 5-year-old. Time, then we go scissors forward, boom, yep, right there. Again, a little more complex because they're moving their bodies different ways. Then we go time, then we go 1, 2, 3, 4. So just do this, yeah, go slow one time, so we go, stop. Okay, go slow. So we go 1, oh, there, start behind the line. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. So they're doing 2 steps in front of the line, 2 steps behind the line. This is definitely one that for a 5-year-old, yeah, these guys can move because they're older, right? For a 5-year-old, this is a very challenging one to learn how to be coordinated, move their bodies, and get going with the 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's always a fun one. The kids kind of get excited about that one. So after we get that done, the next thing we do is called a seal stretch. So just simple, you guys go seal stretch, right there. Every kid can do that. But we really emphasize that this is also our sprawl position, right? Sprawl, something that's really, really important in wrestling. And it's actually kind of awkward for people to put their body like this. And so when we go into the sprawl, we'll always remind them like, hey, you guys, we did the seal stretch at the beginning of practice. You guys all know what this looks like. You know what it feels like. Let's do the seal stretch. So I think that's kind of important that we tie the stretching part with the wrestling part, because for a lot of kids to put their hips in, it's a really awkward motion. You'll see it's way more comfortable for them to like put their butts back. So seal stretch. After seal stretch is scorpions. Okay, so this one is so hard for 5-year-olds. Once they get older, they can really do this, but yeah, they're picking their opposite foot up. That's getting them to use their core, getting them flexible, using their back muscles, butt muscles. The 5-year-olds generally, they can't do this one, right? No, almost never. So until they get older, they struggle with this. So this would actually be really similar to our Turk motion. So we try to tie a stretch in with the move. So when we go into our Turks later, that's like, hey, this is like our scorpion stretch. You guys all do this in the beginning of practice. So obviously we would not teach the Turk to the 5-year-olds. That would be older kids. Hey, this is just like your scorpion stretch. So when you do a Turk, let's try to do the scorpion stretch, and they generally all can feel what that's like. Okay. So now we do rock and rolls. Boom, they're going up. They go feet up and then go all the way over the head. Let's get them to use their core. You would be shocked. It seems like a really simple motion, but there's a lot of younger kids who can't use their core to get their feet up over their head. Also, obviously, gives flexibility. You'll see this a lot in jiu-jitsu schools also. Okay, after that, we go right into candlestick. So candlestick, they're going to try to get up on top of their shoulders, feet up in the air. See, these guys can get their feet really high. Again, something that's really challenging for young kids to do because they don't understand how to use their core. If you want to, James, put your hands on your back, like some of the little kids do. They want to put their hands on their back to help them keep their butt up at a younger age, and we're definitely good with that. But you guys see, as these guys get older, they don't need to use their hands to hold themselves up. They can just hold themselves up. But again, good for core strength, stability, and that's kind of like a lot of these warm-up drills. Kids just don't have good core stability, so we're trying to build that in kind of all the way through wrestling. Because you think about wrestling, it's so much about your core and being strong. Okay, next thing, so we'll kind of go through this slow, guys, would be headstand balances. So here's how we start them. Then we say make a triangle, and these guys make a triangle between your hands and your head, right? A lot of people, they're going to put their hands up by their head, and if they're in a straight line there, they're going to fall over so easy every time. So we make sure triangle, and then the first step is just put your knees on your elbows, okay? And just learn to sit there, okay? So this is kind of the first step. Then obviously after that, when they're good, they can take their feet up. And generally, like for older kids, we still make our older kids, and for older kids, these guys could probably twist or scissors their feet. Can you guys do that? Yes, like all that kind of stuff, like they're really solid. Up and down. And so like for older kids, we would challenge them to do some more stuff like this. For we had one 5-year-old who was a beast at a headstand, but no one else can hold a headstand. And really generally until they get like 8, 9 years old is when they can kind of consistently hold a headstand. But sometimes even in our older classes, there's a handful of kids who aren't very good at that. So neck strength, talk about core strength. Neck strength is so important in wrestling. So this builds neck strength, this builds core strength, and it builds stability, right? Because the kids are trying to find their balance while they're upside down. And again, you know, if you start with the younger kids, you'll see how much of a challenge this is. It is insanely challenging. Okay, so then we just send them to the wall. We said headstand practice. So, right, our older kids, they'll just kick it out. Boom. Yep, right there. Oh, come on, guys. Kick it up, we'll hold it up, and we'll let them hold it. Okay, our younger kids, so let's do what the younger kids do. James can do that. Yep, so they start, they walk their hands in. So go back down, James, so we kind of do that slow. Okay, so just go knees on the ground. So we'll just start here, hands down, knees on the ground. He'll put his feet on the wall. He'll start walking his feet up the wall. And like, the kid's not very strong. Kid's not very strong, they might stay here because they can't do the full handstand. But Gene can probably walk his hands back, right there, and now he's kind of got his chest on the wall. Then they walk themselves into the handstand. So, for our older kids, they can just kick themselves up. And it's kind of one of those things where, you know, no young kid wants to be kind of thought of as a younger kid. You have to make it okay for them to walk their feet up the wall and do that little less hard thing. Because I would say for our 5 and 6 year olds, I don't really think any of them can hold a handstand. Not till they start getting 7-year-olds. There's some 7-year-olds who are really good. They can hold themselves as long as we ask them to, 8, 9, and they're crushing it by that point. Okay, so we're done by then. We're done with that. We say run down a line. Usually, don't stay here, guys, because we're gonna obviously. That's at the end. We have them getting 5 lines and do our gymnastics and tumbling, and that's just so we can get them to learn how to use their bodies again. Getting in the lines is kind of a disaster. That's what these guys' job is, to like herd them because they're like cats, right? They want to run all over the place. Okay, so 5 lines. So let's just have you guys, is it right? Is it good for the camera here? Okay, so you guys right here on this line. So again, like I said in the intro, have your expectations set correctly. So for my 5-year-old class, I have my expectations that the warm-up's going to be 15 minutes. I might only get through a couple things here. That's it, right? For my 8 and 9-year-olds, we're going to be able to we're going to go through everything. It's going to be relatively easy to get through it all because they've already learned it all. So first one, 4 rolls. Let's just go like 3 mat lengths. Boom. So hitting their 4 rolls. These guys, obviously, they're do this for a while. It's very easy for them to come up to their feet. Generally your 5, 6-year-olds aren't going to be able to do that, but try to encourage them to start coming up to their feet. Second one is back roll. Let's go slow and backwards roll. Backwards roll, hard for young kids, hard kids. So one thing that they'll try to do at a young age, Will, can you show like how they go right over? They try to go right over their head, and they get stuck. Okay, like that. They literally will get stuck. So Will could probably, if he wants to, because he's older, he could go straight back and go straight over his head, and then even probably pop up to his feet. So do that. Just go straight back and pop up all the way to his feet. Yeah, he can pop right up to his feet, right? So that's maybe something like maybe a few of the 8, 9-year-olds will start hitting, but that's probably your older classes when they get good at that. So it's really important as they go to make them turn their heads to the side. So guys, just like we do a back roll and turn your head to the side. And yep, and then they just go over there, and then yep, and I have them stand up again, and then do the same thing. Yep, boom. Yep, good. So obviously, again, as they get older, right, they can pop up to their feet very, very easily. And when, like for a high school class, if they're not popping up their feet, I'm annoyed. I'm like, hey, pop up your feet. This is ridiculous. Okay. After that, we go cartwheels. We start this at 5 years old. 5 years old. This is a disaster, but I want them to start getting feeling the motion. You know what? As for us coaches, it's like, yeah, whatever. We know they're going to suck. It's no big deal. Just I want them trying for the, but then the parents like have an expectation that the kid at 5 years old should be able to do cartwheel, which is just not the case, right? They're not going to be able to do it at 5. So anyways, go cartwheels, boom, go. Younger kids, because it takes so long and they're so bad at it, I'll probably have them go 1 mat length. Older kids will definitely go, left hand first, then right hand first, so that they're understanding how to do it both ways. The other thing that we probably wouldn't do till the very older kids is so like 8, 9-year-olds is a round off. So you guys get some round offs. Go for it. Boom. Yep, right here with the landing, because you get a nice important motion to learn. As they get older, then we go. So let's just do So again, this is not how we're going to manage this class, but I'm just kind of showing you our progression through the age. But can you guys round off backwards, roll up your feet? Okay. So they maybe at the end of hinges will be able to do this, but then can you guys do back handspring or back flip? No. Okay. So Jane, you know, as they get older, they can start trying to go back handspring or back flip, either one. Whatever you want. Go for it. Yeah, round off, round off. No, round off. Two backwards. Yeah. So the round off then sets up the backwards handspring and back flip. So I would say by the time kids get to kind of the upper high school class, probably about roughly 50% of the kids that could do that type of motion. Okay, it's good, nice athletic. Okay, so you guys get back over here. All right, so after that, this may seem really easy, but again, just good for developing athleticism. Standing broad jumps. Okay, so these guys could testify for me. Trying to get a 5-year-old to do a standing broad jump is a disaster, right? They gallop, they do a weird jump, they do all kinds of they hop like this, but getting them to so here's what I want. This is obviously ideal. Go for it, guys. Get a couple. Boom. Start butt slow, big jumps, land solid on your feet. That's what I want. So actually for that one, I almost always have the older kids that are helping demonstrate multiple times so the little kids are kind of seeing in their head what it should look like. But getting a young kid to do a standing broad jump, very difficult, but again, that'll help them in pretty much every athletic contest he ever wants to do. Okay, after that, we do something called a gorilla charge, just again, getting kids to learn to use their body. So hands down, and it's kind of like a bear crawl, but your feet are going to, see their feet are going outside their hands? Yep, like that. And their hands and their feet are moving together. Okay? Usually the little kids can do that one. They don't do bad there. I mean, they might try some bear crawl stuff, but usually we get that one before too long. The one that's hard, where I wouldn't really try it until we get to have older kids, would be orangutan, so you guys can show how we do that. Butt slow, hands lead. Yep, just like that. And obviously we could go, go right hand lead, left hand lead, so we're going both ways there. It's another way to kind of get them comfortable using their bodies in different ways. Then we have knee slides. So again, this is one where kids don't want to race, don't want to do this. Like that, and obviously that's not a good knee slide. So we have to kind of constantly remind the kids to not race. And then I almost always have one of the instructors, show, hey, go do a whole bunch of knee slides so the kids can watch them do the correct knee slide. So knee slides, punch your knee through, chest gets vertical, hand off the mat, go back down, boom. Once in a while you get a 5-year-old who has an elite level knee slide better than high school kids, because some kids, they decide not to walk and they'll literally just knee slide around the house. Remember that Griffin kid? Griffin was a 5-year-old, his knee slide was freaking outstanding, better than some of the high school kids that I have. Okay, and then, I didn't forget anything, did I? That was everything? Yes? Okay, at the end, no matter what age you do, we always do races. They love the races, so we won't do races today, but something. Hey, forward roll, sprint, backward roll, back pedal, cartwheel. Obviously, as they get older again, we can compound it, so I can say cartwheel to forward roll to sprint, whatever. That's kind of, they always know that's kind of the end of the warm-up, so they like that. They always love the races. So that's our warm-up. As kind of just one reminder is that make sure you have an understanding of having a correct expectation of what the kids can do. I do not expect my 5-year-olds to be able to get as much done as my 8, 9-year-olds. It's just an unrealistic expectation. So the 5-year-old, hey, we're gonna get, of all that stuff I showed you, probably 25% of it done, maybe 30%, maybe 40 on a really good day, right? With my 8, 9-year-olds, we're gonna do everything that we did there, we will do that every single day. Okay, we will run through that. We will get it all done in the amount of time. They're really good by that age group. So just have the expectation of, hey, what is the group of kids that we're working with right now? What are they gonna be able to get done? What's the expectation I should have them? So that's a warm-up. It's something we do every day. The other thing to remember about kids that I think is really important is, sometimes people feel like they want to throw new things at kids, but kids, they develop a comfortability when they understand that they can do something, right? They get more confidence, they understand that they're competent in the skill set, and that builds confidence, which is what we want. We want them to enjoy being here so they feel like, hey, I can do that stuff. So we don't want to change all the time. Obviously, again, as they get better, we'll start throwing more and more at them. Like I'm saying, like doing the cartwheel with both sides or doing round off tobacco rolls, kind of doing that stuff. We will get better, but not throwing different things at them every single time they come in here. So that's our warm up. Again, I probably allot 15 to 18 minutes per class for that. No matter how much we get through, at the end of that 15 to 18 minutes, we are done with the warm up.